the Berlin radio announced that the two countries have been taken under Germany's protection to prevent a possible hostile attack. Meantime, German action is reported to be spreading to Sweden. A German navigation service broadcast intercepted by the British news agency said that all important harbors and ports of Sweden had been mined early today by Germany. The Oslo radio announced that the Norwegian government has ordered a general mobilization. That action came after an all-night session of the cabinet. The same radio broadcast from Oslo said that the Norwegian government has abandoned its capital and is moving to Hamar. The latest report on the German advance into Norway is that Nazi troops have occupied Bergen and Trondheim. Again from London comes the report that there have been air raids on Oslo, but that the Norwegian radio is still in operation. In Denmark, Danish troops are reported retreating slowly and without resistance before the advancing Nazi troops. In the United States, President Roosevelt has apparently not been informed early today of the Scandinavian developments. The chief executive is at his Hyde Park, New York home. The news from Europe was relayed to the temporary White House at Hyde Park by the State Department. But the presidential secretariat said that Mr. Roosevelt had not been awakened. Since nothing could be done about it in any case, the president plans to return to Washington early today. And in Washington, Secretary of State Hull is on his way back to the Capitol from a vacation at Atlantic City. The secretary will take charge of American problems created by the spread of the war to Scandinavia. Here's a bulletin that just came in from Hyde Park, New York. An urgent telephone call awakened President Roosevelt shortly after 3 a.m. this morning to advise him that Germany apparently was making a concerted attack on Norway and has occupied Denmark. And we take you now to London.
And along the south coast have been shelling German ships trying to carry out a landing. The German Air Force is also in action. Kristiansund has been raided. There are also reports of an air raid on Oslo, but the wireless station there is still working, and there is no news of any damage in either town. Nor is any German landing confirmed at either of these two places. But a little westwards, round the coast from Kristiansund, German troops have landed at Egersund. They also attacked ports all the way along the west coast. German warships have gone into Bergen and Trondheim, and both towns have been taken. One German ship is also reported to have arrived at Narvik, where it was resisted by Norwegian units, but a small force has been landed there. The Norwegian authorities have ordered the evacuation of the civil population from Oslo and Kristiansund. The evacuation has already been organized, and the people who are to leave the capital today have had blue notices stuck on their doorways telling them where to go. Similarly, those who are to leave tomorrow have had white notices stuck on their doors. The German wireless, which little more than an hour ago confirmed the invasion of the two countries, has since announced that mines have been laid right along the west coast of Norway.
We interrupt our program from London, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you a special bulletin from the Associated Press. Paris. The Oslo radio announced today that the Norwegian capital had been bombarded several times from the air and that the government had ordered that it be abandoned by the civilian population within 2 days. Back to London now.
That Norway should not oppose the German occupation. Norway, he said, must place herself under German military administration. The German minister presented the excuse that the Allies would occupy Norway if the Germans did not do so. And Professor Koch told him frankly that the Norwegians did not believe that the Allies had any such intention. The Norwegian government then met to consider the situation, so that Norway could not submit to the German demands. The first news of the German invasion of two more peaceful neutrals came in only about 4 hours ago. The first confirmation came in a statement from the United States State Department, which published a telegram it had received from the American minister in Norway. It said that Norwegians had fired on 4 German warships in Oslo Fjord and that Norway was at war with Germany. The statement added that the American legation in Oslo had been authorized to take over British interests in Norway. A little later came the official German announcement of the invasion, which was described as taking the two countries under Germany's protection. London has been without direct news from Denmark and Norway because the lines passed through Copenhagen, and it has been impossible to get any reply from there. A message just received from Berlin says that communications with Amsterdam by telephone and teleprinter have been suddenly cut off. The long-distance telephone exchange in Berlin would give no reason for an interruption of the service, but said that it would last indefinitely. It is now believed that a third German ship has been sunk off the southern coast of Norway. We have already reported the torpedoing by British submarines of a German troop ship and a German oil tanker. The third ship, which has not yet been identified, is said to have gone down off Lillesund, a small Norwegian port, after...
You've just heard the latest developments in the European situation broadcast direct from the British Broadcasting Company in London. And here's a bulletin that just arrived in the NBC newsroom. Washington, Mrs. J. Borden Harriman, American minister to Norway, advised the State Department today that she has taken charge of the British and French legations in Oslo at the request of the ministers of those countries. She gave no explanation as to where the British and French ministers had gone. Keep tuned to this station for further developments.